Welcome to TMS FNC Maps version 1.2, all new features in a nutshell. FNC Maps is the power of mapping at your fingertips. It is a mapping solution written in the FNC framework, which means it can be used with a VCL, FireMonkey, Lazarus, and of course TMS Web Core. That means you have a cross-platform solution targeting multiple platforms, including Windows, Apple macOS, Linux, and mobile platforms like iOS and Android. But the key feature of FNC mapping is that it does not only provide a mapping solution for one mapping provider like Google or TomTom. No, your users can switch between different mapping services. This slide still shows the state before version 1.2, because now a new mapping provider was added, Apple MapKit. Apple MapKit is the default solution if you use a macOS computer or an Apple iPhone, and now you can include it in your Delphi applications using FNC Maps. Also added was a new component to get the elevation for a coordinate. This component makes use of the elevation services of Google, MapQuest, or AirMap. The advantage of AirMap is that you do not even need an API key and sign up for the service. You can use it right out of the box. Furthermore, TMS added special map controls that open up the mapping services for special services that are only available with certain mapping providers. For example, with OpenLayers, you're now able to specify the tile server that is supposed to be used when your map is retrieved. And for Mapbox and TomTom, you can now, just like with Google Maps and the FNC Google Map control, you can define custom map styles. Let's have a look at Apple MapKit. Using it is as simple as selecting your map control and setting the service property to MS MapKit. If you do that, your application shows the map with Apple MapKit. You can see it here, Apple Maps. Apple Maps has amazing features when it comes to the United States and multiple other countries with regard to its level of detail. For example, if you browse the city of New York, you get everything down to the level of buildings, and each store, be it a restaurant, be it a parking space, be it a hotel, is displayed. Also, landmarks like the Brooklyn Bridge, the Statue of Liberty, are marked very differently from other mapping providers. Apple Maps is definitely a great addition to have in FNC Maps. Furthermore, remember all the shared services like directions, adding markers, drawing on the map, adding overlays like geometric shapes. Everything is supported with Apple MapKit now as well. All you need to do in order to use Apple MapKit is to request an API key from Apple. Please use the developer platform from Apple to do this. You will also find individual step-by-step instructions in the developer documentation for FNC Maps. Finally, let's look at an example of the new FNC elevation control. This application uses an OpenLayers map, which also means that you do not need an API key to display this kind of map. I also use the Airsoft service, which also does not require an API key, meaning this demonstration can be used as is out of the box if you download the source code. We'll give you the link to the source code in the comment section of this video. This area of the map shows where I went to primary school. My school was right here, so I can double click and the coordinates are being retrieved and I can get the elevation. And you see it is 137 meters high above zero. And I had to walk up this street, which is a steep incline, and if we look here, double click, the coordinates are being set, I get the elevation again, and it's 216 meters high. So you can clearly see that there's a hill that I had to walk up every day or walk down when I went to school. So how did I implement this? First of all, I had to drop the TMS FNC elevation control on the form, named it elevation, and set the service to ESAirMap. That's it, nothing more to do. Of course, I had to drop the TMS FNC Maps control onto the form, and I also set its service to the MS OpenLayers value. Let's look how I implemented the functionality to get the coordinates from the map. I implemented the onMap double-click event. This event delivers the coordinates that were clicked upon in the aEventData parameter. So you can simply use aEventData.coordinate.toRec to get the coordinates. I store them in a property of type TMS FNC Maps coordinate rec to have them available inside of the form in all of its methods. In order to get the elevation, I implemented the getElevation method, and that simply calls the getElevation method of the elevation control. Also, I have to pass the coordinate that I want to determine the elevation for. As this process is asynchronous, meaning I don't know how long it takes for the web service to answer, I have to implement an event. This event gets called as soon as the elevation has been determined, or not, of course, but we're not looking at the error handling here. I'm just assuming the request will be successful. So looking at the events of the TMS FNC elevation control, I have to implement the onGetElevation event. As an alternative, I can also provide an anonymous method in the getElevation call. However, for this demonstration, using the event does suffice. Inside of this event, I use the findElevation method of the elevation control to determine if there is an elevation for my coordinate. This parameter is passed by reference, and if you look at the data type, or if you invoke code completion, you can see in addition to longitude and latitude, each coordinate now has the elevation, and the findElevation call will fill the elevation field with a value that has been found if it is successful, which is indicated by the Boolean value true or false. So if this is true, meaning the elevation has been added to the coordinate, we can show it using showMessage coordinate.elevation.toString. And that is how easy it is to determine the elevation with TMS FNC Maps. For more information on FNC Maps and FNC controls in general, go to fnc.tmssoftware.com.